Welcome to See It Drive. Today we're driving the Hummer H3 Luxury Edition. We've taken it on a fair trip, Bowen. About 2,000 k's we're doing this out far north New South Wales. It's been a good drive, but probably not the vehicle of choice out there.
When you say not the vehicle of choice out there, I'd also say not the vehicle of choice in the city or anywhere. I find it to be just a little bit over the top, and I find it difficult to get my head around why someone would buy one of these.
Why would someone buy a Lamborghini, Bowen?
Because they've got a lot of money in there after sheer performance and good engineering.
Yeah. Look, I think this is, I've said this before, I think this is a third car. The country people aren't going to buy this as a first car, as their vehicle of choice as a four-wheel drive. It's just not as good as a Land Cruiser full stop and those sort of popular four-wheel drives out there. In terms of actual off-roading, rocks and hills and water challenges and stuff, probably not a bad, in fact, it's probably a superior vehicle in many ways because it has great approach and departure angles.
You'd be more inclined to bash this vehicle around a little bit more than other vehicles because you're right, it's got the great approach angles, it does feel a lot, it's got great clearance, It's got huge brutal wheels that just, you feel like you can go over any type of terrain that is thrown in front of you.
Look, we drove it on highways and all the way down to really shocking dirt roads, and I don't mind it as a drive. It's a very comfy drive. It's very light on the steering. Very light on the steering. Very slow in the uptake on power though, and very low in power basically. Certainly you think about when we're trying to maintain 110, 120 on those long drives.
Can't find a gear.
No, not happy with gears. So
and plus the fuel efficiency, it's just awful, really. Although you do say that it is in a similar class to some other vehicles.
I think if you look at I think it's the GXL Land Cruiser. The sticker fuel consumption on that is 14.5. This is 14.6. I mean, it's comparative. It's comparative to your Pajeros and your Land Cruisers. It's just that we didn't get that consumption, basically. We drove it. We didn't do freeway driving. We did some windy roads on the way up, and we did pretty heavy dirt country roads there. You're talking 16, 17 is what we were getting. I've got no doubt if you did freeway driving and a bit of city combined, it's going to be 14 or something. So I don't like hammering it for fuel consumption because I think it's unfair. I think it looks. The problem is people look at it and go, big, bulky fuel consumer. But, I mean, it's a 5-cylinder.
Yeah, that's right.
5-cylinder, 3.6 litre. You're talking the Land Cruiser V8's a 4.6 litre. And it's chewing the same amount of petrol.
Despite being such a raw-looking vehicle and all that sort of thing, there are a few little gadgets, though, that are quite pleasing. It's got the full sort of ESP system, the traction control, ABS, it's got electronic brake distribution, which does add to the handling.
Yeah. I just don't. I think it lacks a lot of little things. I mean, it's very simplistic inside. The multi-function stalk, which is your indicator, your wipers, your cruise control. It's like, please, people, separate that out. It lacks, and this is going to sound stupid, but it lacks steering wheel controls for your stereo. It lacks an auxiliary input for the stereo for MP3 or iPod or whatever you like.
There's no rear ventilation for the kids in the back.
No, and 5 seats. I mean, that's a massive problem for vehicles of this size. Your Land Cruisers and the like, you can add that extra row, and that's a real.
And that's not a go in this vehicle. It just cannot be done.
It's not done. In fact,
the
rear
is limited.
Space here is shocking.
Yeah, it is quite limited.
You open the door, and it's even people who know nothing about cars who I've had in this vehicle. We've opened the back door, and
the rear wheel wells really intrude on your space.
But also its depth. It's very not very deep space.
You're right,
it's a weird thing. Look, some really interesting things about it, which I think are beneficial to it as an off-road vehicle, or certainly a real knockabout vehicle. The wheel arches are all very much plastic, so I'm sure they're very cheap to replace. The bumper and the grille are all plastic, and in fact, unfortunately, we did have an incident with a kangaroo.
That's right. Have a look at this. I mean, that's a lot of damage, really. We did hit this road about 60 to 70 k's an hour, I'd admit.
And it's basically, look, it would have been a medium-sized roo, probably head height to the headlight, and you're going to lose the whole bumper there. I'd say the grille, headlight, spotlight, and the wheel will, but. I think that's actually really quite good, and I don't know how much it's going to cost, but I don't think it'll be as costly as having that same incident.
But it just shows. I mean, it's not as strong and as imposing looking as it. The construction of it is quite flimsy, really.
Yeah, but that's a good thing in those corners. I mean, it's built well around here in the corners where it needs to be flimsy. If you hit rocks while forward driving, you don't want to have to put on a new $3,000 bumper. You want to put on a $500 bumper. Do you know what I mean?
I guess so.
Look, my overall impression is I'm quite happy with the car. We've driven the manual before, and I found that to be quite easy to drive and quite good to drive. This auto isn't such a bad thing to drive. We talked about it, not being happy with gears on some long drives and at high speeds. But look, I like it. It's easy to drive. It's a great car. It's a stunner of a car. People love looking at it. It's a head turner. I was very amazed. Not such a head turner in the country.
Yeah, I know.
I actually expected a few, Land Cruiser bikes coming out. What is it like? And what? No, it didn't happen.
I think they may have been a little bit intimidated and off-put by this newcomer to their land. Do you think there was a bit of that going on?
Look, I honestly don't think so.
Yeah.
I just think they just give it time.
Seen it all before, I guess.
Seen it all before, and mate, we know our Land Cruisers are the way to go, so we're sticking with it.
It's more of an ego car. I think that's what it is.
I think bottom
it's a
line,
head
mate,
turner,
it's an ego car.
If that's what you're after, that's what you'll get.
It's fat to drive, it's fat to look at, and it looks good, but, I can't see, it's certainly not a family choice car. No. I can't see that it's someone who wants a
It's the third car, Trev. Say it again.
It's the third car.
Third car theory. And you know what? He's probably right.